ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Conversations with the Commissioner. I am, of course, as you know, the Commissioner Delonte Smith, and this is a very unique opportunity that I have here. Um, as we thought that we were probably done because it was an honor to speak to all of the current active owners of the BFBA. But ladies and gentlemen, as you probably just saw from the intro, surprise, we have done great things here in the BFBA, I must say. And today, yet again, we're doing something great. We've gone global, international, you could say. We've made a partnership with the KBL to bring in the moonshining mastodons to the BFBA. But the interesting part about this is when we signed this contract, they made a request that the team had to be ran by a former BFBA team owner of the Live Oak Lawnmowers, Mr. Champ L. Jackson. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring him in. Let's welcome him back to the BFBA. Champ, sir, how are you? Welcome back.
My guy.
Yes.
How's it going?
It's been a long time, sir. I mean, of course, we've spoken offline on many occasions. You know, we've seen each other face to face. I hope you've noticed that. You know, we've prepared definitely for you as you see what the team has done.
I don't know if you saw the merch. Have you guys not gotten it? You know, I've been working with what is it, Hannah?
Haley Harper.
I've been working with Haley Harper. I sent some packages over. See if she's got something for you. That is nice. That is nice.
With the KBL logo. Now let me ask you, Champ, is this going to be in the BFBA team shop? Like, is this ready to go? Can we get this in the shop already?
There's definitely an NIL done. The players have already signed off on it, as well as I've talked to the merchandiser, and they should be sending the rest of the league's owners some of their samples as well. Some things for them to see, some rough drafts. Yeah.
I gotta just show this to the league. Guys, do you see this thing? We are official. We made it, people. We're in the case.
This is nice. That was one of the big things when I was talking to. What do you got?
It's got the.
Yes. Come on now.
We got the BFBA on the back, sir. Oh my gosh.
That was one of the things I wanted to make sure talking to, like I said, the merchandisers, that we represent this league as if we are really pushing forward. And with this being an international venture, I felt like it's only right to use some of my connections to make sure we could expedite the process.
And sir, I mean, you bringing another level of excellence to this league that I want to commend you already. And like, you haven't even started. Like you're joining in the 25-26 season. We're finishing up. You know, we're halfway through this one, and already we've stepped the game up, sir. Like
I said, man, me and you way back. We've been doing this for a long time. And again, the big thing for me was being that I do have a previous history with you, some of the fellow owners. Like I said, I wanted to make sure that I was at least bringing motion, some forward motion, as I know that I may or may not be welcome with open arms, but I'm willing to accept some criticism. I am.
Understood. And I mean, I guess we'll get into the departure, the welcoming back, and what you've done since you've been gone. But
true.
We left in 2019, so the Evil Empire was here. Now the Chosen Warriors were here. Valar Margulis was here. Of course, the Sham Gods were here. The Brooklyn Stoop Kids were here. Our 2024 champions. Yeah. We also, if I'm correct, we did have the New York Mindset of Fighters, but they were some other team in that form. But we have a few others. The DC Hustlers are new. The Buford Bombers are new. Shake and Bake 2.0, I actually think was there.
Do I see another South Korean reference on the board?
Yeah, you probably do. I think you're talking about the South Korea Soul Brothers, Felton.
Mr. Juicy.
Yes, yes. So
Gotcha.
you've been
We'll
watching
hold out.
Conversations, sir. Yes,
I
yes. Clyde
I
Juicy.
have, but I'm also a little familiar with him and his let's say ventures as well. But we'll get
Oh,
into that on a later note.
what I say, hey, let's not hold back. Let's get into it, shall we?
Well, sure. Again, as I've been in the KBL since I'd say 2020-ish, around the COVID time.
Mhm.
Um, being that I was new to the area and started to get more familiar with some people, you start to run into the locals. And as of now, I'm in Jeju. I'm on the Jeju Island.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful place. But before I got here, I was hanging out in some smaller villages, and let's
Now,
just say
we're
that.
talking about our time in Korea, correct?
Correct, right. Because
Okay,
again, that's
okay,
where I'm at.
fantastic. Okay,
I
all
still
right.
haven't made myself back to the States just yet. But again, talking to some locals, going to some gyms. They don't have necessarily LA fitnesses, but there's some talks of Mr. Kenshin and his story of why he left South Korea years ago. But then he also reemerged as one of
Felton
my.
tension.
Yeah,
Selfless
he was
over
actually
teamwork.
he was on a rival team. He was on a rival team when I first arrived, and we met in the championships, and he was
Oh,
defeated.
let's get to that. I have a question.
Okay,
So pertaining to the BFBA, because that's a really interesting point we've just made, and I want to know more about this.
okay.
You joined the BFBA back in 2019,
hmm
but you stepped away for a while. Can you
hmm
can you share what led to your departure from the
I
league?
think the bigger thing for me is I was coming from the transition of football coaching and having some relationships, and being that I was a two-sport athlete in school and in college, I felt as though maybe I could take a stab at basketball. And I made the draft. Looking back at the roster, really, really great young talent. But me and Joel, me and Ingram, we never could quite get on the same page. And those were who I was really building my rookie coach career off of. Um,
Very,
going
very
back to
interesting.
some conversations, with the owner, um, we could just never find we could never find a middle ground of what type of team I wanted to run versus what he wanted to run. And it became a battle amongst Rams. It became a battle amongst Rams. And so at that point, again, being that the season did start to fall short and I just couldn't get the guys to compete, um, I almost went into a decline to the point to where I stepped away. Michael Jordan stepped away. And I felt as though I had the Michael Jordan sense of coaching. And so I just need to step away. And
And
that's
we're
what I
talking
did.
about the live oak lawnmowers when
The
we
light oak
when in
lawnmowers,
back in
correct.
20
Correct. The light
understood.
oak lawnmowers was something that, again, I took on feeling as though I was going to be what this league needed. I was going to be an impact right away because, again, I was already joining a pretty much fully developed league. So at that point, it became one of those things to where I really just wanted to step in running full speed, but in turn, I should have gotten more conditioning, if you will,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
have more of an understanding for not only what the league was about, but building better relationships. I think there was also times where I came off with a little bit of an arrogance, which I still have, but at the same time, I don't want it to seem as though we all don't have one thing or another to gain from one another. You scratch my back, I scratch yours, and both of them tie shoes.
Hey, hey, and I just want to kind of put a point in here or put a little pin in something. You made a little claim that you also had Joel Embiid back in 2019,
hmm
early on, correct?
hmm
As he's been passed around to a few other teams, he just made
hmm
his
hmm
way over to the Evil Empire.
hmm
I think it was 2 days ago. So you could actually put the claim that you know Joel Embiid was great when he was with the real owner, I guess, correct?
No, correct. When I first got Joel, it was definitely, I could just say, early on in his career, maybe I'd say year 3 or 4. But looking back on it, the upside, he always seemed to have a high ceiling, but unfortunately, he just never would actually fulfill what I was requesting. So it was one of those things. And then, looking back, because a lot of people wouldn't know, but I've kept this roster with me for the past 5 years. I've looked at this roster. I've slept with this roster because this roster, it used to be a dark cloud over me. I look at young Donovan Mitchell, a middle-aged Mike Conley, Marvin Bagley. Is he even still in the fucking league?
I don't think so. Oh, actually, no, he is. Yes, he is.
But you see my point. If you look at the team that I was trying to build, I was trying to build some real young fire because I saw high ceilings in all of these guys. But I never could get the motion to the point to where, again, me being a young coach and this being a very, very hot league, the owners didn't really see me for their future. And I felt as though it was easier for us to come to a mutual compromise versus worst case face the embarrassment of possibly being fired mid next season. So
having other years of decline that maybe we've seen from some other teams throughout the years, I guess we could say.
Right. And I felt like, as me looking at this, like this was going to be my next opportunity to be good at something. I felt, why not step down? Maybe a full flowing league, high fire, high horsepower league was a little too much. Maybe the britches wouldn't fold. So that's why I chose to step away, get experience more on a lower tier, and allow myself to gain knowledge. Because that's, I think, what one wise monk once told me, is that the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese.
I've heard that, and I think you've passed that knowledge along to me once before in some of our many conversations. But you said something, and let's get to that. During your time away, you managed the Moonshining Mastodons, same team that we're bringing to the BFBA in Korea. What was that experience like, and how did it shape your team as a fantasy manager?
Because you have to be honest when you go into a situation like that, being in an entire new venue or venture, entire new country. First and foremost, it was the language barrier. The language barrier was a really, really big difference because, I can be a cool kid, but with them not really understanding how we get along and, as we say, kick shit, it was really, really hard to sell the players on American style of basketball. But one thing I will say is I never had to question discipline. Once we got over discipline, that was something that was always readily available. They were willing to learn. It's really hard when, everybody's 5'8" or under, but it still is a thing to where they were very, very disciplined. We ended up figuring out that they actually have Korean shoes because of technology, that during the game, it would give them a height up to 6'8". So we had players there that were wearing these shoes that would allow them to actually become power forwards and centers for 4 quarters. So I wish that type of technology one day on this league, but that was something that I really, really will say that I enjoyed, was the adaptation of technology.
Sorry, just speaking to the team, because I just wanted to make sure that they caught that.
The adaptation of technology is huge in South Korea. It really is.
That is fantastic, and to think, we've had the South Korean Soul Brothers here, and they've never brought this to our attention. This is,
well, again, I have to fucking laugh because these Soul Brothers are about as unseasoned as potato salad with raisins. I mean, the South Korea Soul Brothers, if you really look at it, why weren't they able to push this move forward?
I don't know, sir.
Their owners are fraud. Their owners are fraud. All right, all right. You see this here? You see this here? I sent this to your assistant. I don't know. Check your files. But this here
Can we get this on camera, guys? What I don't know what we're looking at. Can we get this on camera, please? This is what
that
are we
there,
looking at here, sir?
that there is your Felton Clyde Juicy Kinchin. And this is as my team's confetti is falling on their head. You see this?
Do we also have this?
You should have both of these. There you go.
Oh well, look.
That's me there. Black pants with the mask. This is what I was able to do.
Fantastic, sir. So you all won the championship.
I actually had an opportunity to do a player coach deal. Okay. And so I actually did something that I think we haven't heard since the Bill Russell days of actually playing and coaching yourself to a championship.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, again, so I mean, now.
Hold on, excuse me. Let me pour up a shot of Bakugan. This is one of the actual official Moonshine Mastodon branded wines. It's a wild blackberry wine. Like I said, Bakugan's really, really popular on our side.
Now, and did this come straight from Korea? I mean, we're fresh. Are we still there, sir, or have we made it back to the States?
No. Like I said, I'm over in Jeju. I'm on the Jeju Island. I've been here now for the past few months because we've been trying to work things out, and I know that during the holidays, I spent the holidays in the States, but I had to come back to make sure we could really finalize things. And like I said, I have a place here. It's really, really beautiful. Hopefully, you. Sham Gods, Brooklyn Stoop Kids. Maybe you guys could come out. I know you. Congratulations on the new baby. Congratulations on the new baby, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, she's doing great. We would love it. I mean, I think that would be a great venture. You know, the Stoop Kids is would probably love to take the time to come over.
But no,
I wish the Soul Brothers, you know, could have given such type ventures. I mean, this is fantastic, sir.
Yes, like I said, the Jeju Island is a beautiful, beautiful place. There's the Stonehenge Park, similar to what we have in the U.S., but this one is more on the volcanic lava rock side. Very, very mythical place because South Korea is known to be a very mysterious place, but very powerful with energy. And again, this blackberry wine, the blackberries produced by older Bakugan farmer, or as they say, Nongbuga. He's very, very well-known Nongbuga. And, you know, like I said, man, it's just one of those things to where once I was able to really adapt to the culture and their way of thinking, I produced this championship. And again, Felton was there. He was their star guard. And in the instance,
so he played in the game.
He did.
There's other footage that we have here.
Yes. No, I definitely sent.
Can we get that one on? Can we get that one on screen? I don't see it. I
don't see it either. Yeah. I know I have. Let's see. We also have the shot here. We have this shot here. I really hope you guys got all three. This shot here.
One. Oh,
yeah. That shot one. There. That was during a timeout. It's fourth quarter, and we're up by 9. And he had just walked by our bench. Mm-hmm. And I like I said, I knew of him. He knew of me, and we had a little bit of a disposition
of contact during the game. Like
we had multiple run-ins in the game, but it started during the tip-off. He would not give me a fist bump, and in America, fist bumps mean something.
Yes, of course.
Once he denied the fist bump, like I said, I was ready to attack. And a wise man once told me, the horse was prepared for battle. So it was one of those things to where if you look at that confetti falling on him, like I said, me and the rest of my guys, Chopstick Chin, who was our center, really, really dominant player. And it allowed me to see that just with some discipline, you could defeat what was once South Korea's star kid. I'm talking about, I heard that at one point Felton Kitchen was considered the LeBron James of South Korea.
That's
and in turn, for me to come over there, a young boy with a dream. It just said a lot. And so to know that he's now back in the States playing this angry South Korean soul brother, that's what really bothers me, because this league definitely deserves really, really good, reputable owners. Nobody wants this stench in the league, but I digress.
That's fantastic, sir. This story brings me. Yo, we got cut. We got cut.
We back? You there?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry. There was definitely some technical difficulties in here. Seems that we had a bit of a slip.
Can they see this logo again? I am really, really proud of this. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, that's really fantastic. I think
this is really.
Oh my goodness, sir! Wait a minute. Wait 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
The vat, or the I guess this moonshine that this Mastodon is cooking on the logo, is that moonshine from the South Korean television show Moonshine?
We actually have a running deal with the show. They will be sponsoring the KBL. We'll be sending some cases to you guys here soon. I got to figure out how to get it through customs, but we're going to be making sure that because like I said, everything's about revenue. We really want to drive revenue, because that's what not only, enforces the league, but it's going to allow the league to grow. Once we get the revenue flowing and we're able to have these multiple streams, I wanted to be able to not only start with TV. We want to do a food deal in Korea. Food is huge over here. And after that, we got a couple automakers. I'm talking to some automakers. So we're going to, I say, man, definitely in the works to try to work some things out. It just sucks, my man, because I really hate that you guys already had a potential pipeline to Korea, and it was just being flushed away.
This is just very interesting. I mean, we were covering some of the images and things that you were saying from the championship game that you spoke about, and things like that. These things here. So I think there's a deeper conversation that maybe we should have as a league of what the value of what we can bring. When we have such pipelines like this. If we're playing in championship games. If we're finding ourselves out there, we definitely want to bring value to the league.
Of course.
Which you have. We've spoken a lot, and this has been fantastic. You played a significant role before you left in 2019 of advocating for change in the league, particularly shifting to the lottery draft. Not many people know that, but that idea came from you. What motivated this push for change?
I saw a spot in the league where it did allow for, not to say favoritism, but maybe some abusing of how the draft works. And at that point, the NBA and other leagues work on the lottery system. So I felt like it was only right to give teams that had the lesser chance or didn't make it as far have a greater opportunity to potentially elevate their team, because a team that's already won doesn't need a second Michael Jordan. They don't need a third LeBron. They've won. So allow a team that is on the lower end of the spectrum to have a higher chance, and at least give that a sense of consideration, because you want all owners to feel inclusive. You want all owners to feel as though they are being considered when board meetings and things are had. Because again, this was, what are we talking, 2019? The league had already been developed a few years, and I felt like just having conversations with you off air, you were looking for growth, and I think that was one of the first things to show that it was going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go back and you look at the YouTube, because it's definitely there. I tried to bring you back in 2019, but of course you were already on this.
I was gone.
Korea.
I was already gone.
Right. So, which totally understand. This brought you a championship somewhere else, so it gives you the experience to bring to the BFBA. But we definitely started where I took it into consideration of, well, it doesn't make sense if the champion wins to get the first pick. So we'll do some form of a lottery draft,
I mean, you think about it. If the Brooklyn Stoop kids, because if I'm not mistaken, aren't they back-to-backers right now? Aren't they 2 for 2ers?
No, they're not back-to-backers. So their first one came in 2016, and then they just won in 2014. Now,
so she's the current champion. Got you. Okay.
Correct. But they are 3-time lottery winners back-to-back.
Okay.
Back-to-back lottery #1 picks. So Pablo and Wemby go #1 to the Brooklyn Stoop kids 2 years.
Got you. Okay. So, and I will say, before we move on, I did bring up the Stoop kids because that was one of the teams that really, really made me feel as though I could do better. I looked at the way, that team was being ran. Holly having the expertise that she does. It still seems like she's really moving forward with, especially the Wemby pick. I mean, that's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it won her a championship. His rookie year was the year that she wins a championship. So I think it kind of has already proved positive for the Brooklyn Stoop kids.
Now, what about isn't there a Jedi hanging around? I know there used to be a Malcolm close by. I don't want to forget him.
Yes, the Nether Chosen Warriors. They are here.
Yeah.
They just won their second game of the season. They are 2-11 this year.
Yeah, but they've never choose to win a championship. And I thought Jedis were the masters. Never mind. Next question.
I have a great one for you. Now that the moon shining mastodons are joining the BFBA, this is huge. What are the goals for the team in this inaugural season?
Main thing is to really put a footprint on expansion and showing that regardless of location, we're coming for the trophy. Because I know we're going to have to come back here. The players will probably want to work on, maybe an on and off type of deal, A day, B day, A day, weekday type of deal. But for the most part, whether we're in the States or in Korea, we will be known in the BFBA. It will be known that the Moonshine and Mastodon have arrived. And as far as with this being an inaugural season, we definitely wanted to show there's a different style of basketball, and it's called winning all the damn time.
Oh, right. I too like to dabble in that type of basketball. Every now and then. I mean, if you're listening to the breakdown, Janet just really gave a really good breakdown. This Janet Turner, director of media. I'll have to put you in touch with her.
I know of Janet. Janet actually went to college with some of my colleagues. Janet's been known to snooze around, and if I'm not mistaken, her and Cedric may be having. He's the owner of one of the teams, correct? That guy, and
you're speaking of Mr. Lucas, of the owner of the NY Mindset of Fighters. Is that who you're speaking of?
Yeah, she's been known to have a thing for certain people in power, and from my understanding, through a grapevine, maybe them two have been in a little bit of collusion. Because if I'm not mistaken, there was some friction with you and a trade. But then come to find out, he made a trade of some sketchy behavior, and it was just kind of waved off.
And going back to the Live Oak lawnmowers, you were part of that season, the 2019 season. So you also saw, I guess, and experienced what went down that year of the trade happening right before the deadline. And the obviously you saw the conversation that we had during the Christmas holiday. Let's just say this because I don't want to get into it. I don't want to take away from your interview. The actions that have happened or would have happened between Miss Turner and Mr. Lucas, we're going to leave that for offline.
I can understand
Miss Turner does a fantastic job. I love what we're happening with the breakdown. We all know Mr. Lucas has had to sign some type of paperwork to not disclose his trades because of the dealings that he's done previously. So I think as you come into the league, you'll realize and you'll understand, some dealings are best, that you shouldn't deal with. Certain owners maybe we should we should stay away from it. But I mean, you have dealings with Mr. Lucas previously, so this is not any inexperience of your own.
No, no, no. And that's where we've had our waves, we've had our ripples. And again, me and him will make our reacquaintances here, as I choose to do with all of the owners. I hope that at the end of the day, we all can come to terms, because this international venture is already done. So, let's make cheesecake.
I'll take a slice. Can you tell us about the partnership between the Mastodons and the KBL? I mean, what does this mean for both leagues and I mean for both teams and for the league as a whole? Before you go into that, I just want to say that I am yet again impressed with already the magnitude and the lead that you have come in with this league. Not only bringing the Mastodons, but bringing the partnership of the KBL. Where we know where that goes, nobody knows. There's some rumblings out there that I've heard that we're looking into doing a media partnership next season with the UBN as well.
The UBN, or as some may know, the U Black Niggas Network, has been around for a while. But they also came to Korea because with the Big Three and Ice Cube, who's got a huge presence in Korea, the UBN was looking for a platform. And unfortunately, with the Disney deal, which I know you're familiar with on the other side of things, the UBN wasn't really adequate enough to be able to handle the American basketball nature. But in Korea, I mean, UBN, they do basketball, they do Korean slingshot, they do Korean noodle stirring contest. So there is a huge avenue when it comes to
my favorite is Korean dice throwing, but not craps. They just throw dice.
You know what? That really shocked me, but you'd be surprised. You might be better at that than you think. Might be better than you think.
I've gotten a couple sevens in my day.
My God. But overall, the media deal, it's going to have, again, a TV and a music side, because with K-pop, we want to make sure that we can also involve K-pop into the league. And that way, when the fans are at, say, games, we'll have interactive QR codes and things they can scan to, like I said, try to just drive interaction amongst the players and the fans.
Man, this is face recognition, so we know everyone coming going. We're keeping body types and blood types at all times, correct?
If you'd like, but I think we'll stick to maybe the lower side of technology, just because with us, we don't want to overcrowd the fans, but we also want to give them something immersive enough to where they do feel as though they did something. But I think with the face scanning and whatnot, in Korea, it doesn't really work because they all look the same. So we stay away from face recognition over here. But, depending on how things go, maybe I could talk to some guys and do some trial things.
That would be great, because there's some other things. I mean, I guess as you're talking to your guys, what unique strategies or philosophies do you plan to bring from your time in Korea to the BFBA?
One of the main strategies is to make sure that the players are very healthy when it comes to their diet. In Korea, these guys over here some days would just eat air, just to make a day, just to be able to have the energy. They would literally eat a bowl of air. So knowing what I know in the United States, where we got buffets, we've got a lot of food that, just kind of gets abused. I know that I want to make sure that I don't have a team full of Zion Williamsons. Big fan of Zion, big fan of Zion, but my boy got to stay away from the gumbo. And with that in mind, knowing that the team is going to eat healthy, they're going to show up on time, and they're going to be disciplined. I think that's really the bottom line, is to go for players that are going to really focus on performance. Availability is the best ability. And if I can't get any assistance, then they can keep their distance. So That's what the philosophies will be around the way of the Mastodon.
Understood. Now we're speaking of a player that's not on the team, Zion Williams, currently on the Brooklyn Stu Kids. Somebody you'd be interested in going after, maybe, possibly working on a deal?
Potentially, but I look. How could you say his stock would have to really become something that wouldn't look as if I'd be potentially going to lose more than I gain, because huge fan of Zion. But again, I don't know if as big as a fella as he could he pass up a little Caesar's pizza for a bowl of air? Because that's what I'm gonna ask for some of my players. Do you mind not eating today? And then they turn around and score 30. You know, you look at SGA in Oklahoma, I'm pretty sure he's eating a bowl of air.
Yeah, very small, but using the frailness to wiggle through.
Yeah, but there's definitely some players that I've talked to. I've definitely spoke to some players. I was talking to Jimmy, but unfortunately, with what's going on with him and the Heat, I don't really know if that's going to work in our favor, because he actually was planning on coming to Korea. He reached out to some of the owners. I got wind of it, and it just kind of turned a little sour, because he is in the middle of a contract. He's in the middle of doing something or fulfilling something for someone else, and to abandon that league in its entirety, that's something we don't do over here. We don't accept line jumpers.
I understand. I understand that. How do you envision the culture of the BFBA evolving with the new expansion teams like the Mastodons joining? And of course, there's another team that's going to join. There's something very unique that you have decided to do. As we once again, we're setting a standard. You're going to give up the 15th spot and you're going to move to 16th. In the first round of the draft, allowing the newer or the whoever the other owner that's coming in to settle in. Fantastic. So how do you envision the culture changing?
Again, the competition is about to get really, really hot. I'm talking like grits on your chest hot. Because we're all about competing and making teams want to win, whether it's us or the competitor. So as far as the culture evolving, I say get ready for a lot of shit talking. We're going to step on some toes. We're going to ruffle some feathers, and we're going to burn some biscuits.
Understood. So, and when we speak of some shit talking, when we make our entry, whenever that time comes into the WhatsApp, we're coming with some heat, is what we're saying. Like, we're first day in is my first day
because
out.
I feel like the league. I feel like the league is a charcuterie board, but it's full of cheeses, and you need some peppers on that charcuterie board. You need some peppers on that board. So the moonshine and mastodons. Yeah, no, and the thing about a mastodon, very passive, but still a huge force when reckoned with. But I think that in just the nature of what this league needs, I think that it's time that you do get just a little bit of lava. Just a little bit of lava.
Well, finally, sir. This has been a fantastic interview. Let me apologize for the technical difficulties that we had in between. I hope it didn't really take away from what you were trying to tell today. But finally, what are you most excited about as you prepare for the upcoming season of the BFBA, of your upcoming season of the BFBA?
I'm honestly excited and honored just to be back. I feel as though it's been a long, long time coming, because you and I have spoken many, many times, because we still have a great friendship outside of this. Yes. You and I have known each other for a long time. We've been fortunate enough to come down to Orlando, and we kicked it. We actually did kick our shit. But I really am excited to really see what this venture brings, because believe me, once what happens, because again, with the media deal, Korea will be able to see at least, I'd say, about 45% of the games. But with this media deal, it's going to bring a lot of recognition. So don't be surprised if not only with myself, I'm excited to try to bring in some of my other fellow league members potentially. But it's definitely something that I just feel like it's really, really going to be cool to get involved again, to actually have something that seems like it may actually have an upside to it for once. You know, again, when I was in the league earlier, didn't really know what I was doing, wasn't really as focused as I should have been. You know, the women, the soju. I'm sorry, that's over here. It was it was a lot of things that just at the end of the day were a distraction, and I can be accountable for that now, and that's why I'm back. That's why I'm back.
Fantastic. Well, I got one more question for you, and I think we got to ask this one. Is there anything else that what you would like to say to the current members of the BFBA and the fans? Because now that we're global, we're going both ways here. As you make your return to the league, what's Champ got to say other than what he's already said?
I want all the owners to know that there's going to be a time where you have to see me. So look me in my eyes as you fall, because I'm coming for that trophy. That jacket you're wearing, we want one. We want one, but we want one with the patch. And I don't want the jacket until I can have the patch. So I want all the owners to know, because I understand that there's monetary values. And, I've heard that some people have been, how you say, a little reckless and may or not be in some holes. Spend your coins wisely, because we're definitely going to be out for justice, as Steven Seagal once did.
Sir, excuse me, but fantastic interview. Fantastic. It's a privilege.
I appreciate the opportunity.
And I appreciate you allowing this venture to happen. This would not be possible without the KBL, the Moonshining Mastodons, UBN, of course, BFBA, and Mr. Champ L. Jackson. I mean, sir, can we get that up there? Congratulations on the championship. I just want to say. That's something that we didn't know about. So bringing that type of legacy to the league is fantastic. The other images that we brought today are something that we really will sift through, right? Maybe there's some explaining to do, and maybe this really kind of sets a tone of what we've seen thus far from the Soul Brothers, but maybe not. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I
appreciate it. And again, on that Soul Brother note, again, at the end of the day, I don't want to come off as if I'm a bully, but I want what's best for this league. And I feel as though with him not giving you guys this, because I feel as though with this league, a person like Felton Juicy Kinjins could be a really, really good adaptation if he was allowing himself to be resourceful. But if he's not going to be accountable, then what good is it to have those resources? Because again, that's why I reached out to you in the beginning, is once I won the championship, I wanted to be inclusive with this league, because this league is where I felt like I should always be. So again, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and it's something very interesting to take note. I mean, if we go back and we look at that photo, and sorry to keep putting these images up here. I mean, probably not for you. This was your championship.
Oh no, this is amazing. This is amazing. I can still smell that day.
It probably smells like victory. And that day, the 2022 season, if you go back and look, that is the year that the Rocky Mountain Oysters come back to the league. So Felton, before he becomes the Soul Brothers, he makes his return.
Exactly.
Maybe we need to get him back on and have a question. Is this the reason? That we decided.
I would say so. I would say so. Like I said, if you look at the despair on his face, if you look at the thirst, that's the thirst of losing. Everyone else is excited. That's the thirst of losing. I wasn't drinking Gatorade in my pictures. I wasn't. I was holding up a trophy.
Yeah, I get it. But
this has been great.
This has been great. We'll get you one of these. This has been fantastic, sir. I want to thank you. I look forward.
No, hopefully we can do. I don't know, maybe some type in how you say, I know the transition is going to happen over the next few months. So maybe over the course of the next few months, we can have a couple of more update conversations amongst you and ourselves.
I'd love to. I'd love to. If you just have your team reach out, as I said, you have contact with Janet. She's the direct, she's the direct line to me. She'll put you in touch with Tiffany.
About this logo, by the way. You got to excuse me.
Sir, I think it looks fantastic, and it goes with the rest of us that are here. It's like
I don't know if you noticed this painting. This painting is actually, this was given to me from someone at the game. They were watching the game. They got our address, and they sent this painting. This painting was done by a monk that had one arm. This had one arm, so it's
fantastic. And as the mastodon, the bull, just the true sir. I gotta say, this is fantastic. I want to thank you.
You enjoy that. You enjoy that. I hope you wear that out around the city.
I will. I'm gonna show my mastodon pride.
And let the rest of the owners know. Let the rest of the owners know, like I said, they should be receiving their shipments here soon, because I definitely, again, made sure to make everyone inclusive.
And as I said before, sir, we're in the process of opening the BFBA team shop, and this you're telling me now,
everything will be in
word that this is good. This is in it.
Yeah, now that's there, and like I said, everything else should be there soon. And once you get the samples in, I think all the owners will be pleased. I saw some of the samples. Like I said, I really like some of the options that I saw some of the people have. But again, that logo, that's dope.
I think it's fantastic. I'm going to throw it over the shoulder. Champ, I wanna sincerely thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. I appreciate
it. We never know where we'll see each other again, but I think for now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna say from me to you and from the Mastodons and Champ L. Jackson, this has been another conversation with the Commissioner.